Hey guys, Malkuth 1974. Come back at you, another episode of International Civilian Space Program. Today we are bringing you an SSTO. I think this is the first one I've ever done on this series. I am not very good at driving these things, but it's pretty awesome. This vessel is made by Pinolallo? I don't know how to spell his name, or pronounce his name, but I tried. Actually, I got this vessel off of the Kerbal Space Program's Space Exchange, and the SSTO's posted pictures here. So this vessel didn't have its own thread. It was part of a bigger thread where people are actually posting all the pictures, but that's what happens. This vessel is actually very easy to get into space. I haven't had very much problems with it. The problems I've been having with it is actually getting it back on the planet. I've already lost Bob to the first one of these I've launched. And if you notice, this one does not have any Kerbals in it. That's because I do not want to risk any more Kerbals in this program. And I think the mistake, it's been a while since I played this, and it's been a while since I've used these vessels, since I've done this recording. But I think what I've done here is that I've actually launched this and landed it, but used the parachutes already and have not repacked them. So just remember that for later when the disaster part happens. Actually, there's two disasters in this. We'll get into those later, but we're gonna get this rocket up and running. It's pretty nice. You can land it. It can actually land. It can launch and land, and then launch again and land. You should have enough fuel to actually get there. So we'll get this thing going up here, and we'll take off. Again, this is post-recording, so the video will be sped up a little bit to, move it along. Move it on up. You know what I'm saying? Just getting this stuff going. Yeah, again, I'm going to launch this as a regular rocket, straight up. We're going to do at 10K, we're going to make our gravity turn. But instead of doing a high angle turn towards space, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually almost level it out to get the speed up. What I want to do is I want to get this vessel up to orbital speeds for I don't have to use the regular rocket engine that is in between the 4 jet engines on this. So I'm going to keep bringing it down. You can tell it's a very fast vessel. It also has a very high air intake ratio. Again, this is using obviously he put this together. He used the cheat to part clipping for you can get all the parts together. You can tell air intake, you start out with like 4, and as you go higher it goes down. I mean, we're at 22 right now, and I still have 2.0 air intake, but it's dropping pretty rapidly. I have it at about a 10-degree angle, and I'm just trying to get the speed up. If you do download this vessel, the description is down below. I don't think I'm flying it the way he wants you to fly it, but I've learned that you want to just get these SSTOs as fast as possible, especially if you get it to orbital velocity. That way you can get your AP up. I'm going to try to get this one to 100 meters, and since we're only at 35 right now, we'll drop probably 8K or so from losing the speed, your speed advantage that you have when you first launch. So there we go. I'm at 100, and you can tell it is dropping because I no longer have the engines going. I've disabled the jet engines, and I've enabled the aerospike engine. It does have an aerospike engine. It is in between the 4 jet engines. I think I mentioned that before. You can tell we are still dropping, but I am going up very quick, and you can tell that my map is dropping, but it's actually slowing down. That's because I'm getting higher, and now I am at orbital altitude, so at 70K. I'm going to set this up, and we're going to actually get this all done. Actually, I'm almost matched it there on the AP and the PE. Do some time acceleration and get the solar panels out. Again, this vessel has nobody on it. It is totally remote controlled too, so you can either have... I took the pilot out earlier. My idea with this vessel was I was going to, launch them, land them, keep them landed for, when I use them with Mission Controller, I don't have to worry about refueling and the launch costs. Once you launch it, it's yours. Make a refueling vessel that can refuel it on the whim right there at KSC, Kerbal, or KSP, I should say, Kerbal Space. Well, actually, it is KSC, Kerbal Space Center. I'm just going to do a test docking with the International Space Station, and this is where things start going wrong. First, we got to intercept the station, which is a pretty standard intercept, easy to do. I'm thinking now, are these gosh darn it all things open? I don't think they are. That's why I'm checking them. I finally realized that, hey, these aren't packed. How the hell am I going to land this thing if I can't use the parachutes? Luckily, I didn't put anybody on it. So, all I'm doing now is I'm switching to this guy. We're just going to fast forward as fast as we can. It's always a good idea to have something on the ground that you can click to. That way you can have maximum acceleration to catch up with whatever you're trying to catch up with or whatever you're trying to do. Whoops, I actually messed up there. I said set target instead of switch to. There we go. What I have noticed about this particular save is that even though my International Space Station only has maybe 28 parts, maybe under 50, I would say, the lag getting to the station is horrendous now. It's not horrendous, but it's not good, and I'm thinking that maybe the save is starting to get corrupted, because this is from 0.20. It was converted. I've actually shrunk the station down a little bit because I no longer have ion cross oxygen anymore, so I got rid of that part that was on the station. I actually deorbited it. Did that even sound correct? I don't think it did. Oh well. So there we go. We're just getting an intercept here. Standard intercept. Not a big deal. Coming in on space station. Roger, 1, 2, 3. There we go. I don't really fly SSTOs very much because I'm not very good at them. I'm definitely not good at the space planes. I don't like planes in Kerbal Space Program because it's like the most ridiculous thing I've ever done in a game. It's not even realistic to any realistic point of view. But I don't mind SSTOs that are like this that you can just launch from standing up, just like a regular rocket. But planes, no, not gonna happen. Probably will never ever see me with a SSTO plane testing, or maybe I might test them, but who knows. And there's the space station. As you can tell, it looks a little shorter. Well, that's because I got rid of that part I was just telling you, the oxygen supply, which was about half the station size because of all the stuff that was on it. Yeah, just get this guy over here. The funny thing is, it's funny when you're using these and you think your space station is pretty big, but then you get the realization that no, it's actually extremely small. And that's what I'm saying. If you look at the space station, it doesn't have all that many parts on it. It's not that big. So why am I getting such a huge lag fest? That's why I think either my save is corrupt or it's getting corrupt, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. The International Civilian Space Program has been running for, it hasn't had that many episodes. This is episode 11, but it has been running on previous versions of Kerbal Space Program, and I didn't even think this was going to make it to 0.21, but it did. But I'm starting to think that it wasn't great. So now if we look at the size of this SSTO and my space station, I start realizing, you know what? My space stations aren't all that big. Not at all. I mean, considering there is nobody actually on the station. That is just a lander that I left there. I do play this without actually recording. This is my regular game. I'm always messing around with it, playing with it. I would say that you guys see about maybe 10% of what I've actually done in the game. So it's not... This is where things go bad, by the way. I dock, and all of a sudden the station just starts cultivating, and it basically explodes. Now, usually people would go, "Oh, that ain't right." But I'm thinking, there are never any accidents, unknown accidents in this game. There's no, like, failures or, like, random failures. And I'm thinking, maybe I should end this series at this point and, start another one or season 2 or whatever I want to do, or change up how I want to do this. So that's basically what I've come up with. This was a massive accident that ended up pretty much destroying the station. It didn't really destroy it. Basically, all it did is take out 2 of the fuel tanks. And I'm thinking maybe I didn't have them. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out why it did that. I mean, this is Kerbal Space Program. Weird shit happens all the time with it. So, so this is something I'm going to keep. It did happen. It was some kind of accident. Luckily, there is nobody on the space station, even though it wouldn't have affected them. As you can see, the 2 hitchhiker pods that the crew would live in are perfectly intact. Actually, you could probably still continue to use this base, but, for closure's sakes, we're going to say that the International Civilian Space Program, or the space station, is pretty much junk. So at this point, we want to land, but I want to land in daylight, so I'm switching to that, and I'm putting it in daylight, and we're going to go back to the International Civilian Space Station, and we're going to land this SSTO. Right now I'm trying to find the docking port. I can't seem to find it. So yeah, so this is one of the final episodes of the International Space Program. It's not actually the last episode because I still have a crew on the moon that I have to get off, so we might see 1 or 2 more episodes. I might even launch a special mission to take the International Space Station out of orbit. I might actually consider doing that. So there might be 1 or 2 more episodes, and then this series will be finalized. Now, this vessel does have MechJeb on it. I usually don't use MechJeb. I don't even know how to use it. I'm just trying to figure this out at this point. And I'm going, well, I can never actually hit Kerbal Space Center, like, right on. I've never been able to just land it. I get close, like maybe 50 or 60 kilometers or whatnot. But I'm going to let MechJeb land it this time. And I think this is where I made my mistake. I ended up going back to the forum page where he explains on how you should land it. And he uses, obviously, I didn't add MechJeb to it. This is what he uses MechJeb this way. So that's just how it works. And yeah, I did it wrong when I did the landing. I'm reading it right now. If you go to his post, you'll see a bunch of pictures. And how many are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11 pictures. And you can like mouse over the actual picture, and it will give you a description of how to fly it. The very first pic is where you download it. It'll give you if you mouse over the part that says mouse over for image description, you can just download it from right there if you're interested in this craft. It's a good craft, it's just you gotta practice landing it, which I'm not very good at right now. Yeah, he gives you pretty much description on how to do everything in it if you just mouse over everything. It's pretty cool. You can use this imager to actually do that. So anyway, here we are. It's all targeted. I'm pretty sure I don't want MechJeb to land this thing because I'm pretty sure it has no freaking idea how to actually do it. I've never trusted MechJeb to do much of anything, so that's why I don't usually use it. So I'm going to probably turn the board off here in a second. Actually, I know I do. I just want to make sure that it actually hit the thing. There's me checking mission controller to see how much money I actually have, because I'm actually thinking about getting those guys off the moon. All this stuff is going through my head as I am actually playing this game, and I'm not really paying attention to what I should be paying attention to, and that's how to land this vessel. I mean, I have an idea. I mean, it's just like any other lander, but the problem that I don't realize is that this thing is top heavy. not back heavy where the engines are, which is weird. You would think it would be extremely back heavy, but we'll see in a second what happens. And plus, I don't have the parachutes. How Bob Kerman died with the very first launch of one of these vessels is that the parachutes opened at too high of a speed, and it actually ripped the vessel apart and ended up killing him. And you can see here that I've already shut off the autopilot, but I can't get this to point. The engines have to point at the ground for me to actually land it, and I can't do it. I have to. I'm getting frustrated. I'm like, what the? I got SAS on. I'm like, you see how it's extremely heavy on the top of it where the crew cabs are, and the engines themselves don't seem to be where the weight is, which is weird. So at this point, I already know this vessel's lost. I'm trying to get the parachutes to come out. I'm doing some quick maneuvering, but yeah, to no avail. We'll just do a dive right into the ground. Second vessel destroyed. I've never had luck with SSTOs. That's why I only launch freaking rockets. SSTOs. Takes a lot of practice to get good with those things. So yeah, that's it. It's a good vessel if you guys can learn how to land it. He gives you a description on exactly how to do it. If I would have followed the description, I probably would have landed it. Like I said, I downloaded that vessel a while ago. So this is the moon base, and these are the vessels on there. That's the Cathane miner, and there we go. We got two guys on there, me and Patsy. Yes, there is a me in there. I did add me in there. And there's my moon rover. So yeah. So next episode, we're gonna get these guys off the moon. We can't end the episode with people still in the dangers of space. We'll get them out. I'm gonna use this vessel, which is the vessel they got to get there. It is fully fueled from the Cathane miner, and we should be all set with that. So I think that's about it, guys. As always, subscribe, comment, and rate, and we will see you guys later. This is Mouthproof 1974. Out.